if we believe that's what we need, that's what will do it for us, we need to feel, we need to recognize that's what will do it for anybody. Because if you just believe it's only you're doing it because you think there's something wrong with you. And the other people don't have that problem. The other people just having the right house and the right husband and children, they're just happy, but for you, no, you need something else. If you think that way, you're not recognizing the need, this true spiritual need. Recognizing the true spiritual need is recognizing it's really something fundamental that is necessary for human life to be complete. And the other thing also that helps me know that I am really oriented in a truly spiritual way, or truly oriented toward freedom or the liberation, is if I don't think of a spiritual life or spiritual realization as a matter of just adding another compartment in my life. Like I have my family life, and I have my work life, and I have my spiritual life. If you think of it that way, it is not spiritual yet. If you think of it, well, I have my mental life, and I have my emotional life, physical life, and I have also my spiritual life, still, that wouldn't do it. It's not spiritual yet. That's not what true spirituality means, at least the way I think about it, the way I know it. So when we reach a time in our life, in our world slaps us around enough, you get either enough heartache or enough opportunity, depending how lucky you are, to recognize that there is another way of being in all of the situation of life that is necessary for there to be this kind of happiness that is not dependent on the particular peacefulness that is free from the content of our life. Inner intimacy that does not require that all noise in the world will stop. Then I think somebody then is really truly embarking on the spiritual journey. And that's why actually thinking of it this way, that what makes me think the word spiritual somehow is not exact for what I want to say, at least, because most of us think of a spiritual that's as another thing. There is matter and spirit, the spiritual and the physical, the spiritual and the social. Makes the spiritual another compartment, another thing, another activity. So that's why for a long time I use the word essential, or discuss question about what is the true or the complete experience. Because really, the kind of thing that human beings, all of us human beings want and seem to desire and need in a very deep way, like the free kind of happiness and enjoyment, and unruffled peacefulness that doesn't depend on whether you paid your rent or not. And the kind of satisfaction with oneself and with the world that doesn't depend on the state of the world or your state or your condition, whether it's the economy or the war or whatever. That inner peacefulness or that inner richness that we might feel we want at some point. All these really are expressions of something that have nothing to do with any particular situation of life or any particular content of the ordinary, everyday living. All has to do, my understanding of it, with including or recognizing an underlying dimension of experience that is inherently and fundamentally intrinsic to what I am, who I am. It's intrinsic to everybody, and it is inherent to everything. It's a matter of including a dimension, because spiritual dimension, or the dimension of true nature, that is actually the inner stuff, the very constituency of all of those things, of you, your mind, your body, your emotion, your house, your wife, your husband, your kids, your car, all of them. The inner constituency of all of these. And I'm not talking about elementary particles. I mean the constituency of your consciousness, of stuff of your experience. You know, the interesting thing that the book addresses is that many teachings have known this and understand it, teach about it, that freedom is already present, peace, true unruffled peace, true fulfillment, real love, are already present in that ground of who we are, the very inside of us, the deepest inside of us, and the deepest inside of everybody and everything. It's already there. It is not something to make happen. It is not something to construct. It's not something to attain. It's already here. In other words, this elusive kind of illumination, this light or this spirit or this love or this mystery, is already what you are. It's already what I am. That's been sort of a basic insight for many of the teachings. It's not like spiritual work, you work on developing something, you sort of refine yourself and create a soul, and after a while you develop your soul by exercising it. They talk about spiritual practice. You practice just like you practice in the gym, and to develop your muscles. So people think the same thing with spiritual. You practice, you do exercise, and finally something happens, just like growing plant, and after a while you do things, and after a while it has a flower, and there's a new thing that wasn't there before. That's not really how most spiritual teachings see it. It's more like the flower is already there. In fact, not only that, it's because the flower is already there. That's why we feel miserable most of the time. Isn't that interesting? The fact that the beauty, the luminosity